Hello, hello. How you doing? It's a great day to have a great day. Welcome to Grit to Glory Radio. I'm your host, Charity Schaefer, and I'm here to bring you things today that are going to help you overcome, break through, and live free. Um, I will tell you, this is probably going to be a little bit more of a fiery episode, a little more transparent, and it comes with all the love in the world. And I'm just telling you these things from my heart because I am seeing and hearing often, folks, so often. I mean, how often? And I'm going to use myself as an example too. However, how often do we say, I would like to feel better. I would like to have more energy. I would like to leave a legacy for my family. I would like to change my financial future. I would like to change my situation. I would like to change the relationships that are around me. I would like to. One day, maybe, someday, never comes. And I'm saying this from a place of transparency because here's the thing. I mean, the brand is Grit to Glory, so obviously there's going to be a little bit of straight talk, right? This isn't to make you bad or wrong, okay? The intention is not to shame you. The intention is not to, those things, shame you, make you feel bad, make you feel guilty, all the things. However, it is to get your attention, okay? Because, see, we're stuck in patterns that are keeping us creating the same reality that we're experiencing. And what it is that you're desiring is going to require a new level of identity from you. And I talk about identity all the time because it is so, so important. When you go to work on your identity, everything changes. It has to. It has to. So with saying that, so many of you guys know, if you've been following me on my Instagram stories and things like that, I've recently started a challenge, a sun shred challenge, which is like a 60-day challenge I'm doing with a friend of mine. She's an incredible health coach. Her name is Ashley Beeman. In fact, I'd love to have her on here at some point as a guest to share with you. And it just popped off this month, right? We've been in the challenge for 1 week, okay? Well, my intention, she asked that we set intentions for it, obviously, because any intention, any target that you don't set, you're most likely not going to meet or hit it because it's never set. You're always just, shooting into oblivion. There's no target, there's no intention, Anyway, so we set some intentions, to share with you like some of my intentions. My intentions were like to close all the circles on my fitness watch, to track my food. I wanted to be intentional about like watching what was going in, what I was intaking. So those were some of the intentions I set. Well, at the end of the week, because it was just week 1, the end of the week, she put in there some questions. How was your exercise? Did you meet your nutrition? Did you meet your exercise? That's actually what she said. Did you follow through on what you said you would do? And I'm going to be honest, like a little part of me, like there was a part that came alive for me that was like, because here's the thing. I did really well this week. Okay. I'm proud of myself for the areas in which that I honored what I said I was going to do. And then I also, in reflection, what it showed me where there were some areas for improvement because I had some feedback. There were some areas in which that I was operating from the old identity, and rather than setting myself up for success, I was setting myself up for, I don't believe in failure, really. I think it's all feedback, but for some feedback, okay, ladies and gentlemen. So as I was looking at it, I was like, oh man, because here's the thing about me too. One of my values is I do like to win. I do. I like it. It feels good to win. So whether I'm competing with myself, whatever, honestly, in most cases, I feel like that the person that you're competing with on a day-to-day basis is the person that's looking back at you in the mirror. So I'm always competing with myself, right? And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't really want to put this in the chat, like in the comments, like, okay. And then I had to remind myself, look, this is not guilt. This is not shame. You actually were winning in a lot of ways. Like you really should be so proud of yourself. And this other portion is just feedback. And so I'll tell you what I got the feedback on. It is that throughout the week, I did not close my exercise, my green circle, all the days, all 7 days. I did close all the other circles though. So I was like, that's a win. That's excellent. Way to go. We're celebrating that. However, to honor that intention, what am I shifting? Now, here's the thing. I'm going to go into this more in detail another time. Many of you all know that the last 18 months have been very challenging. because you've been following along on my journey in navigation of grief, in navigation of, the first 8 months of that, really helping support and care for my mom as she was diagnosed with stage 4 small cell lung cancer. We got blessed with many more months than what the doctors even said that she would have. And that was challenging. That was challenging on me physically. That was challenging on me, mentally. And then we're coming up on the 10-month date this month of her passing, of her not being here. And I'll tell you that there are still days that is very challenging. I saw a quote one time that said, when you lose somebody, you don't just lose them once. You lose them again and again and again and again. And as we're having a lot of the first, my daughter, she turned 18 in February. My other daughter just turned 17 this month. Those are some first that the phone calls didn't come in. And I will get, emotional, and I am finding myself get choked up a little bit because there is still sadness there. I miss my mom. I miss calling her. I miss talking to her. I miss the text messages that would come through. Just so many things, So with that said, it was very, very, very challenging. And the last 10 months, I'll tell you, I found myself in a really low mental place. I found myself in my physical appearance even, because I just didn't want to leave my house. I was at a very low place. I would honor the commitments that I had made in terms of to my clients and things. However, I wasn't bringing any new clients on. There were just some shifts that were occurring, right, due to where I was at in my mental state, to the point that really it got to a place where I was like, gosh, if something doesn't change soon, you can't die with the dead, and it was like, I've got to figure this out. And I was really to a place where I was like, I might have to get some medical support. Anyway, crossroads happened. Some pretty miraculous things happened, came into my life. Again, I'll share more about that later. But where that all of a sudden, I started to feel good now. I started feeling happy. Something happened and completely changed, where now, I for the last few weeks have had incredible energy. And so I say all that to say this. Obviously, first, to give you some context. Also, to say that, it's this past week, it wasn't that I wasn't out doing things, because now I'm doing things constantly. I just feel amazing. I'm really harnessing and experiencing the fullness of life, and what would happen is I would get home and, then there would be the evening hours, dinner and things with the children. I guess they're really not children, they're teenagers, but anyway, with the kids, with my husband, things that I'm doing, right? By the end of the night, I sit down because I've lived to the fullness of life in so much capacity, and I've really felt great all day. I'm looking at my watch, I'm like, gosh, the green is not all the way closed. And in some cases, it wasn't closed really at all. So I'm like, okay, the treadmill is right in the other room. In fact, but my eyes would just start to close because I would feel so tired, by the end of the day. And there was one night even that I looked at my husband and I said, I have this commitment, and I'm, my desire is to honor myself. I'm going to do it. And I said, I just need to take we were sitting on the couch. I was like, I just need to take a 20-minute little snooze. And then I'm going to get up and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do it. And I said, so wake me up in 20 minutes. It's a 20-minute power nap. So here we go. I closed my eyes for a minute. And the next thing I know, I opened my eyes again. Well, guess what happened? We both fell asleep. So I open my eyes though. And I look at him and I go, is it still today? He's like, no, I did not wake you up in 20 minutes. I was like, oh my gosh. But anyway, I say all this to say that I have collected the data for myself and tracking and all the things that to increase my odds of success in completing the intention and following through with what I said that I was going to do is to be intentional with getting that walk in, getting that movement in, closing that green circle first thing in the morning. And so that's my commitment this week to myself. And I've even asked folks, I've said, in my Instagram stories, I was like, hey, if somebody needs some accountability, with closing their green, their green circle. I mean, not where I'm going to call and pump you up, but accountability, like side by side. Like, hey, I did mine today. Okay, cool. I did mine today. Let's go. Let's go. Because, together everyone achieves more. It's a lot more fun when you go together, in my opinion. If that is you and you didn't see that Instagram story and you'd like to, shoot me a message and we'll keep each other accountable in the mornings, and getting that walk done, getting that exercise ring closed. Maybe you're not walking, maybe you're doing something else. Mine that I'm working on, the discipline I'm building is walking. So anyway, I say all that to say this, so frequently we are shooting the shot or saying that we are, want to change things, and that's all it ever is. It's just a want. And then we want and we want and we want, or we should and 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 I should and I should, and we end up shooting all over ourselves. And I'll tell you, if anything, over these last few years, if anything has shown me anything, is that life really is so fragile. And we don't realize really how fragile it is until, somebody that was there every day isn't. Somebody, they're diagnosed with something happens, and then you go, oh my goodness, like I never would have expected this to happen. However, with that said, if you want to up your game in life, change the things that your present identity is doing to align with the things that your future identity would be doing. If you want to up your life, if you're serious, because I hear people all day. I think sometimes they just talking out the side of their mouth, and that's not me being ugly. Now, if you're in a place where you're like, I just don't feel good, shoot me a message, because I will tell you, like, I've had something come across my desk that is like changed the game for me in that. Like, I feel good now. Like, I feel great. And now I have like the ability that's even outside of just like will and grit to just be like, man, I just feel so good. I want to do it, However, outside of that, if it's a situation where you're just like, like saying like, hey, Charity, look, I'm not talking outside of the side of my mouth. Like, I could use some accountability or whatever it is, begin to step and harness into that identity is what I'm saying. Like, if you're serious, and you're really serious about changing your life, like, and that's in all areas, whether it's fitness, whether it's finances, whether it's in relationships, whatever it is, like, don't go another minute and saying like, it would be nice, or talking about like what you did 10 years ago, to justify why you're not doing it today, whatever it is. Like, you have the ability 100%. I saw this post the other day on Facebook that talked about attraction, and I believe in the law of attraction 100%. I believe that, the more that you are in alignment with something, the more that it will come to you. However, the part that people miss in that a lot of times in that word attraction is the word at the end that says action. Even the Bible says, faith without works is dead, so put one foot in front of the other. I want to challenge you this week to do a checkup from the neck up, and this isn't just Charity telling you this. You ultimately, any person has to make their own decision, but let today be that day. Let today be that D-Day that you're hearing this today. So, this is the day that makes decisions. And start the journey. The journey of, what does they say, like 10,000 miles or something starts with the first step. One foot in front of the other. And here's the thing. Have grace with yourself. Love yourself. Like I did this last week. I'm like, gosh, there's some feedback here. Was there an opportunity for some shame? But it was also like, well, what's real here? Like, what's coming up? Like, how can I set myself up in my environment? But also there's like even more of like, I was doing some exploration even around the emotional side of things. Like, where am I potentially sabotaging this for myself? Like, what is this trying to tell me? Now, in some cases there is something deeper. In some cases it is just, set yourself up for wins. Like, get up and do it in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's my challenge for you. If you feel led to it, drop it in my chat, in my inbox on Instagram or Facebook Messenger. Let me know like where you've decided you're making a commitment to up level your game. Like, that you're like, I've been talking about this for a long time, and it could be big, it could be small. It could be a little bitty thing that you're shifting. But tell me what you're doing. Like, let me hold you accountable. Also, if this blessed you, if this aligned with you, if you feel like somebody that this would definitely resonate with, and that they need to hear this message, guys, do your job. All right, we all have a job. Like, we're blessed to be a blessing, so bless someone else, and let them hear what what could really shift some things for them. So anyway, with that, obviously we always appreciate our 5-star reviewers. And if you're not subscribed to the podcast, please do that. If you haven't subscribed and also given us a 5-star review, drop us a 5-star review. Tell us what you love about the podcast, and share the podcast. So, and we like to look at that from time to time and do some surprise drawing and giveaways. So with that, I hope you have a great day. See you next time.